Today's show is brought to you by State Farm agent Brian McDevitt. Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, save an average of $889. State Farm agent Brian McDevitt, ready to help you combine home and auto and save in Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. Call Brian today at 630-796-2662. That's 630-796-2662. Or visit his website, ryanismyagent.com. That's ryanismyagent.com, and make sure to mention Sports Talk Chicago. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. I want to start today with this. What's the truth? Simple question. What is it? See, if you're a Bears fan, you really don't know what to believe anymore. Sure, you could be happy about Justin Fields. Great. You could wait in anticipation for his first start of the season. But let's go big picture for a second. Where is this team? What are they? Are they going to be 4-12, 4-13? Are they going to be 500? Will they make the playoffs? Are they a Super Bowl contender? What indications do we have of what they're going to be? We know they have a new quarterback, but we know that Andy Dalton was paid. We know their defense is dwindling, getting older, regressing. The offensive line got some support via the draft, but they're still not proven. And the wide receiving core really needs some help. So again, I ask, where is this team and what's the truth? Matt Nagy said a couple of days ago, quote, "We feel like right now with this roster that we built over the last several years, that we really believe that right now we're in a great position to go out and win a lot of games and win right now. With that being said, we are building somewhat of a younger roster now, where we as a coaching staff have to be able to develop these players that we're drafting. We're so excited for the future and the 2021 season." Hold on a second. What did he say? So we're in a great position to win right now, but we need time to develop other guys. We're still a young team. Which is it? Are you trying to win? Or are you trying to develop? The headline of the article says, Matt Nagy views the Bears in both win now and development mode. That's not a thing. And if you believe that, you're mistaken. Can't be simultaneous. People who say that, people who say win now in development mode, they don't know what they're talking about. And usually those teams who do come out and say that aren't good. Cubs, great example. This is only a retool. They're 500. And at this point, why not just rebuild? You have to come out and be honest with your fan base, and I don't know what this means. Win now and development mode. That's not a thing. I feel like that was said for a couple of reasons. One, job security. He can't come out and say we're going to tank next year. People will come for his head. Wants to make sure his job is safe. I get that. Two, you want people to tune in. You don't want to tell everybody that this team's going nowhere, so you pad it by saying, sure, we'll win now, but we want to develop other guys. I see right through this statement. I hope you do too. I hope it's apparent that you can't be in win now mode and development mode. You can't sit here and say, well, we're going to win today, but we need to develop for tomorrow. It's not how it works. You're either ready to win right now, Super Bowl contender, or you're in the process of rebuilding and developing. I'd say it'd be different if we're talking baseball. Yes, you could be somewhat in a win now development mode. Somewhat. Not a lot, but somewhat. because at the end of the day, you're still developing prospects in the minor leagues. But even that, there is still a clear difference in baseball between win now and rebuild. And we all know that. Remember the Cubs rebuilt from 2012. We all know. So to sit here and insinuate that two things are going on at once, that's dishonest and wrong. It's one or the other. And if I had to guess, they're not win now mode. Don't believe that. You could say what you want about Justin Fields. The fact remains he hasn't played a game, and the other fact is, who does he have around him? Look at their schedule even. This is a tough schedule. Way tougher than last year. This team is not ready to win 13, 12 games. It's not going to happen. And if you believe that, you're being delusional. Oh, well, Justin Fields is the savior. Sure, maybe. But what do you think? He's just going to burst onto the scene and throw for 4,000 yards and win 15 games? No, not with this team. Oh, but Pat Mahomes did it. Pat Mahomes had a great coach and a great team around him. He inherited the best situation possible. This is way different. And I love how the Bears keep saying it's the Pat Mahomes model. We'll follow the model. What model? There was no model. They got lucky. And they had a hell of a team around him from day one. When you have access to Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt at the time, good running back, good O-line, great coach, you're going to win football games. Versus untrustworthy coach, unproven O-line, and one or two wide receivers. And a quarterback who is not as talented as Pat Mahomes, too. He isn't. That's a fact. So the whole Pat Mahomes model, it's not a model. It just happened. Has that happened before? No. Will it happen again? Probably not. Unless someone comes up with that much talent. And I doubt that. So the talk about the Pat Mahomes model is a farce. This is a farce. We're in win now and development mode. No, it's not how it works. One or the other. Now I do see the Bears will play Sunday night to open up the season against the Rams in Los Angeles. Primetime football, game 1. I want to make this very clear to everybody watching and listening. You do not have to start Justin Fields game 1. Oh, but it's prime time. Who cares? Oh, but we need to win. Calm down. You do not need to start Justin Fields game 1. That's a fact. You'll hear about it just in a minute when I have Randy Mueller on. He also believes the same thing. He's a GM. He knows what he's talking about. You could listen to the drivel being peddled by all these Bears insiders, but the fact of the matter is, a GM just said, Ryan Pace's former boss just said, it is not the right idea to throw him out to the Wolves in game 1. Correct. Oh, but he needs experience. How good is experience going to be when you have nothing around you? You're going to scar the guy for life. Well, he's tough enough. He should persevere. Do you want another Mitch Trubisky situation? Everybody here who's celebrating about Justin Fields, do you want that again? I don't think anybody does. Everyone is so delusional about this, it's not even funny. Develop the quarterback, then play him. My goodness. I know you're all quarterback deprived and you're hungry and you want this to happen, but if you force it, it may not work. Then what? Who's going to be blamed then? Nagy, Pace, but you're the one who wanted them to put him in. So which is it? Everyone needs to calm down and take a big, deep breath. And I know it's very hard for a lot of you because, yes, you have every right to be excited, mad, angry, anxious. You do. I agree. How long has it been since the Bears have had a legitimate franchise quarterback? So it's understandable to think I want him in now, but think about the other side for a second. Let's say you do it. Week 1, Justin Fields start. Prime time, Los Angeles Rams, great defense, unproven O-line, no weapons, no reps in the NFL yet. How do you think that game's going to go? Do you really believe the Bears are going to come out and just shock the world and win? And dominate LA with Matthew Stafford? Come on. Let's think about this logically here. Stop getting so excited and having that cloud the reality that is this situation. I'm not saying Justin Fields is a bad quarterback. But I'm saying it's very wrong to rush him into the game. And you could hear everybody tell you he should be in, he could handle it, this and that, but I trust the GM. I trust the GM on my program. I don't trust whatever Bears experts you want to listen to. They're a fan. He's not. I'm not. This is impartial. If we're thinking logically, if we're thinking about this without any loyalty, how would every other team handle the situation? Very few would say you're starting game 1, kid, go suit up, unless there was a desperate need. Cincinnati, desperate need. They had no quarterback. They started Joe Burrow. What happened? Joe Burrow got killed at ACL surgery. Who knows if he'll be the same quarterback? We don't know. The Bears have 2 quarterbacks, much more qualified than Justin Fields in the NFL. It'd be 10 times different if Fields was the only quarterback on the roster, him and Tyler Bray. Then I'd say, you have no choice. You have to start him. You don't have to start him. Week 1, you don't have to. You may want to, you don't have to. It is unnecessary to throw him out to the Wolves, Week 1, primetime, LA Rams. It's so many unproven things surrounding him. This isn't a Pat Mahomes KC roster. It isn't stacked. It doesn't have a quarterback whisperer, quarterback guru. No, that's nothing. People have to realize that. No one is. No one's acknowledging it. And then you'll wonder why he won't work out. If you rush him, he won't work. Simple as that. If you put him into a game and he's not ready, and he has nothing around him, no safety net, no help, what do you think's going to happen? Do I have to remind you about last year? Mitch Trubisky, Nick Foles? I understand Fields is better, but the fact remains that they were running for their lives. The other fact remains that Justin Fields did have problems releasing the ball in college. He did take too long in some occasions to throw the football. That's on tape. That's a fact. Don't rush Fields. No matter how much you want to, no matter what the fan inside of you is telling you, you and I both know it's not right. We both know it. You don't want to admit it because you're so quarterback deprived and you just want something. But we both know what the right choice is here. My fear is that they'll do it anyway. And this schedule makes it 10 times harder. Because I'm sure ownership, management will want ratings. The NFL will want ratings, revenue. I wonder what's going to do that. Andy Dalton versus Matthew Stafford. That would have been cool in like 2010. Or Matthew Stafford in LA versus the new upstart rookie Justin Fields in Chicago. Markets number 2 and number 3 face off. Game 1, Sunday night primetime. What do you think's a better narrative? What do you think's going to make more money for the league and for these teams? That is my concern. That is a big concern. You're going to rush him out there for big ratings, and that's great. It's a business, I get it. But in the process of that, he may not develop correctly. And you're going to be sitting there wondering in a year or two, what happened to Fields? And I can't wait to see where the blame is placed this time. Because last time it was all on Mitch. So who's getting blamed now? None of this says that Fields is going to be a bad quarterback, and I never said that. I'm defending the guy. I do not want him rushed out there. I do not want what happened to Mitch to happen to Fields. I don't. I want him to succeed. But I don't think it's in his best interest to be rushed out there game 1 like a trick pony and have everybody get so excited and then have things not work because he wasn't developed properly. He wasn't given enough time. That's the whole issue with this. Give the guy time. It'd be much different if the roster was great, if they had a great coach. They don't. There are holes within this team, some of which still haven't been addressed. Hate to break it to you, but it's the truth, and if you don't hear it from anyone else, you're going to hear it from me. There are still issues with this team. The defense is getting old. That's a big problem. Secondary is completely depleted. My hope is that the offensive line gets better, but we don't know. We need to see what happens. And the wide receiving core. Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney. Great. Who else? No one. And you expect a rookie quarterback who was at Ohio State, who had a great team around him, never really faced tough competition until college football national championship. You expect him to just be okay. He'll do fine. Come on. It is going to be a learning curve. And that's not a knock on Fields. That's for every quarterback in the NFL. Mac Jones went to Alabama. Had everything around him. Great defense, great receivers, run game, coach. How do you think he's going to fare in an NFL game with New England, who has nothing? Trey Lance, Trevor Lawrence. How do you think the Jaguars are going to do this year? Everyone's saying they're still not going to do well. That's with the consensus #1 quarterback. You could have a great prospect. You could have all the talent in the world. But if you have nothing surrounding you as a rookie, that's a problem. There are few quarterbacks in the NFL today who simply win. We've talked about this a number of times on this program. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Pat Mahomes, to an extent. There are very few quarterbacks who just win, no matter who's around them, no matter what the situation is. A lot of quarterbacks are dependent on a lot of players. Dak Prescott, dependent on Ezekiel Elliott and Amari Cooper. Mitch Trubisky, dependent on his defense. Do you expect Justin Fields to come in and just not be dependent and light it up? I don't. Sorry. That's not a knock. It's just the fact of the matter. Look at the situation. Think about what's really going on here. And I'm going to feel so bad for him if he's rushed out onto the field for everybody else's sake and not for his own. And then he flops. And then what's the narrative then? What will people say then? I'm the only one looking out for him. No one else is. I'm the only one here who's concerned about his well-being in the NFL. No one else is. Put him out there. Put him out there. He'll persevere. If he doesn't, then he's a bust. No. That philosophy was applied to Mitch Trubisky. Look where that got you. You want to do it again? Are you crazy? Sometimes it just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. And it's so annoying. It's the same people saying the same thing all the time. Put him in, put him in. I hear it from everybody. Do you know football? I don't think you do. Do you know the Bears situation? Does your favorite Bears expert know the Bears situation? I don't think they do. I think they look at it from a fan perspective and say, let's do it. Let's act on a whim. Out of the blue, heat of the moment. No. This isn't an impulsive decision. This isn't something you just make and move. No. We're talking about a franchise quarterback here. This isn't some joke. You can't just rush him and hope everything works out okay. That's unacceptable. They did the same thing with Mitch. Whether you like it or not, they did. It would have been nice, realistically, if Mitch sat all of 2017, because you would have to think the Bears knew in 2017 there'd be a coaching change. Why couldn't he have sat for a year? They make the change, bring in Matt Nagy, and they start together right away. How do you think things would have been different? We don't know, but I think there would have been a minor improvement, maybe major. Who knows? So please, I implore you, think about this logically. Don't just sit here and say, put him in, here we go. No. Oh, and that's right. The Bears have to have an identity. Can't be saying win now and development mode. One of the two. And if it were me, if I had to guess, they're in development mode. They're not in win now mode. Come on. They just drafted a rookie quarterback. So are the Jaguars in win now mode? 49ers? Jets? No. So how the hell are the Bears in win now mode? What, they're just the exception to the rule because everyone says they are? No. We have to think about this. Everyone needs to use their head correctly. So as I've said from the very beginning, we have to see how this plays out. Don't buy into the hype. Don't say with certainty, I know it's going to work. You don't know. My message has stayed clear from the very beginning on this. Don't jump up to false hope. Don't sit here and say, it's all okay. We don't know yet. That's okay. We don't need to know yet. But it's very wrong to rush Fields to the field, to say we don't know what our identity is, and to make a mistake that could cost you in the end. The Bears have to be careful. They have to protect their pick. And right now, it doesn't seem like they're doing that. More to come here on Sports Talk Chicago. My interview with Randy Mueller comes up next, so stay tuned. Hey, do you want to make some money this weekend? What if I told you I could offer you $250 free to bet on any game you want? Here's what you have to do. Go to sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. Must be 21 plus, must be an Illinois resident. You can bet $250 free for any game you want for this upcoming weekend. Cubs and White Sox are back. The Bulls have been officially eliminated from playoff contention, but a couple of games are left, and the Blackhawks just finished up their season. Bears prop bets going strong, too. What do you think about Justin Fields? Here's your chance to put down some money on how many yards he'll throw, how many games he'll play, how many touchdowns he'll have. This is, without question, the best time to put down some money and win a whole lot more back. at sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.